And it's just that if you're unhappy with your current circumstances, the only thing that's going to change it is taking action and doing something different tomorrow. Like, what are the steps that we need to take to get there? And tomorrow when we wake up, let's do that. Tomorrow's a new day. You don't have to be paralyzed by this anxiety or by not being where you want to be right now. All you can do is start taking baby steps in that direction, and before you know it, a year's gone by and you're where you want to be.
And for anyone that might have anxiety or depression or anything of that's overwhelming for them, that they think they can't get to where we are, everything's a practice. So all you have to do is take that little bit tomorrow or tonight to implement into your life, and then add that again the next day. And when you do that little bit of practice on everything every day, before you know it, you're not even practicing, you're just doing. Correct. And that to me is huge.
Just because you're good at something doesn't mean you're meant to do it. Pete was a great fucking bar manager. You are a great fucking chef for sure. And that doesn't mean that they're meant to do it. I would probably be a great custodian. That doesn't mean I'm meant to fucking sweep floors, yo.
That's like getting money, I'm on my thug again. Trying to stack a little dog, trying to catch a win. And next time I drop a coupe, it's gonna be a twin turbo. Always been a G, but I ain't never been a herb though. Way I'm switching lanes, this shit.
Hey guys, welcome back to Millennial Mentality Podcast. I'm your host, Nick Agnelli, here with my co-host, Peter Price.
Yep.
And our guest today, Bradley David.
Hi there, everyone.
Guys, we're in a different studio today. Shout out to the Stanton Bowery group. You were over here at 4 next to 123 Dentura. And we're just so grateful. Thank you so much to you guys for allowing us the opportunity to come and film here. Yeah, and if you have not gone to one of these bars, A, what are you doing? But B, come. Their hospitality service is just top notch, and we thank you guys again. Yeah, so shout out to them for that. And as always, guys, thank you for watching, listening, viewing, and subscribing. Your support means the world to us. Continue to tell your friends and family about us. It means the world. And we're just going to continue to try to grow the brand. So thank you for that. To Bradley. Is it Brad or Bradley? Which one do you like better?
I gotta be honest with you, when I was a child, I would say Brad because I didn't want to get picked on for being called Bradley. But then as I grew up, I realized that like my mom gave me a name, so I should respect her enough by like going by the actual name she gave me. So straight up, Bradley's how I go by now.
I love it.
AKA the Birdman. That's what my boys call me.
Okay.
That's a long story, but we're not gonna get into that today.
Okay.
We might touch on it later.
Might tap into it. All right.
Well, Brad, I want to start off first. You wrote a book.
That's correct, yes.
And the name of the book is Meet Me Where I Met You. Now, we're going to go back to your life and how you got to where you are today, but with the book specifically, what launched that endeavor and what is the book really about and what does it dive into?
Okay, so the book's kind of interesting. So the book is actually about a trip I took around the world by myself in 2016. I went around to 25 different countries in a span of 8 months. So the book wasn't even an idea when I took the trip. What I do for a living right now is I'm a private yacht chef. So I was doing that from 2008 to 2015. And at the end of 2015, I left the job I was at to take a year off because that job is a bit hectic sometimes, and you need to like step away and kind of like, calm down a bit. So I did that, and I traveled around the world, and I basically just journaled like everywhere I went, pretty much every day. Sometimes I'd miss a couple of days because life happens, what have you, and then I'd go back and then I'd write what happened the past few days. Fast forward, 2016 goes by, and 2019 comes around, and something happened in my life that kind of like switched gears, where I realized that I'd have to do something for myself to never be in that situation again. As we know, life's a fucking roller coaster sometimes. So I realized I gotta start doing something for me. So eventually that I can be an employer, not an employee. So basically what happened was I had this idea to start a company, which I did after a bit of time, and I met with someone who, I actually met with Ryan Coda first. So I was sitting next door actually at 123, funny as that is, and Ryan and Tyler were bartending that night. And I didn't really know either of these guys yet. I was just having a drink, shooting the shit with them, and I was just kind of like talking to him about my life and whatnot, and Ryan thought it was kind of interesting, and he asked me if he could film me, as like he has like a hobby or whatever, and I was like, sure, whatever, not a big deal. But then I went home and I started thinking about it, and I was like, like what I do for a living and the people that I consider my family, all of us are doing something for ourselves that's kind of interesting. And I thought, well, maybe I should like try to put that into like a TV show or something. So that was like the first thing that sparked this idea. When I met with someone who Ryan introduced me to, which is my producer basically, Ryan and I were sitting next door at the bay window, and I was asking him if he'd like to film me, and he was like, honestly, that's not really my deal, but I know someone that does filming for us, and she'd be really cool like to meet, and I think maybe you guys would connect. And literally, I shit you not, as I'm having this conversation with Ryan, this blonde girl runs up to the window, bangs on it, waves at him, and runs down to Bradley's. And he literally just looks at me and goes, that's her. That's what I'm talking about. I was like instant goosebumps right away. I was like, do me a favor, holler at her, tell her what I just told you. If she's interested, she can hit me up and we can start talking. So that's what happened. Literally a couple of days later, she hit me up. We had a meeting at 1-2, and we started talking about my idea for my company, which is called Lyfe Choyces. And she wanted to talk to me about like what the pillars are, like what the company's based on, and all this other sort of stuff. And as we were having these meetings and talking, I mentioned that, like, you know, when I launched the business, I want to, like, you know, have this journal, 3 journals that I'd like to make into a book. And so once we got through a few meetings, that's when I started like going back to the book and started to dictate it onto the laptop, because obviously it was just like handwritten journal. I hadn't looked at it at, like, I think her and I met for the first time April 5th, 2019.
Wow.
So I hadn't even looked at it yet, right? Now at this point, we've had a bunch of meetings. We've figured out what the 3 pillars of the company is, which is food, travel, and the success of others. We call it stories. And the name of the company and like everything that like I am and like what I want the business to be. And we were on the right track, and she was like, okay, well, when you get the book dictated on a document, then she'll give it to her creative director, Brooks, and she'll start editing the book and make sure it's ready for the launch. The weirdest thing was, is as I was dictating the book, the rough draft onto the laptop, all 3 pillars that her and I had discussed what I want the company to be about, the name of the company, everything that it is, was already in this book. I was like, I didn't even realize I had been basically manifesting my future just by living my life while traveling around the world by myself.
You should unpack it.
I just had to start enjoying the process.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And that's a big reason why I'm sitting here with you 2 guys today, is because you know, I know Pete through a friend of mine, TJ. It's like my family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't use the word best friend. I use family, because I got like 9 guys that are my family. That like that's my circle. But we met through TJ when you were working at Kachina.
Yep.
And so I obviously started following Pete on Instagram, and I saw he dove into the scariest thing ever, which is saying, you to the world,
Yep.
I'm gonna go do my own thing, and nailed it.
Thanks,
you know,
man.
like, dude, every time I see you post something on Instagram, hey, I have one opening for a tattoo. 1 hour later, gone. I have 2 openings this month, gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he just like decided to take a leap of faith on himself and do that. And then I found out that you 2 guys were doing a podcast. So, I mean, I'm doing a YouTube, you guys are doing a podcast. So I started watching your episodes, and I mean, you guys got 75 episodes already. That's more than a year of being out there on the largest platform, the largest visible platform out there in the world for people to watch. And I was just like changing my life slowly to become basically a better human being. What can I do inside here to become better and create something for myself that will help others? And so I started watching your guys' YouTubes and your podcast on YouTube. And sure enough, a lot of your guests I know, or maybe I don't know like directly like connected, but through my friends I know them or know who they are.
Know of, yeah.
Exactly. So I started watching your podcast, and I'm like, all right, these guys are legit. They have the exact same mindset that I have. And you, with your story and your background, and you just literally just talking to the camera, like in the first early episodes, not hiding a damn thing.
No.
Just being like, you know what? Here it is, 2022, 2021. I'm just going to tell the world what I'm about and not worry about what people are going to say. And that's the biggest thing that drew me in. So I'm sitting there, you know, I have a routine where I'm up at like 4:30 in the morning. That's how I start my day. And so one day I just noticed, like, I'm doing work and I'm online, I'm checking out some things, and I see, you know, Pete's online. So I'm like, all right, hey, hit him up. Yeah, I think you were at the gym.
Yeah.
And we started messaging each other at like 4:30 or 5 in the morning, and we started talking about, hey, let's collab, you know, let's do this. And that's really why, like, I was like really geared up to be like on your guys' show, because we're all doing the same thing differently. And that's the beauty of right now about what's happening. This is I'm 44 years young, okay? This is the most exciting thing that I've witnessed in my life. Because I was born in 77, but obviously I didn't really see much in the 70s.
Yeah.
80s, I was kind of a teenager, seeing what the 80s were, but you're not really aware of the magnitude of what's going on in your era when you're a teenager.
Right.
You're just not aware yet. So like by the time like 90s came around, all right, well, nothing's really happening. Internet came out, okay, that was like a big thing. But now all of a sudden, like you have this opportunity to be your own boss if you're willing to take that leap of faith in yourself.
Right.
And when I saw that you guys were doing that, I'm like, all right, I need to connect with these guys because they're doing it. And what's more brave than sitting here in front of a camera where you're going to talk to, right now, a couple hundred people, let's be honest, my YouTube, your podcast, we haven't hit the millions yet.
Yeah.
We're going to. We know that because we've seen it. That's why we're doing this. But to sit here in front of a camera and just talk very casually, very calm, very relaxed, and just tell the world what you're thinking and feeling.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I think everyone needs right now, and that's why there's so many people like us that are doing something. So that's kind of like, as you can see, I just like organically have conversations with people, and the conversation will go left, right, up, down, it doesn't matter, as long as we get like that meaty beefiness out of it, so that the people that are at home watching this are gonna be like, wow, those three dudes got it going on.
Yeah.
How do I get there?
Hell yeah.
And first off, you illustrate your story very well. Second off, it was funny. I told Pete when we started this a little over a year ago, I said, listen, I'm in this for the long run. I'm not going to start it to stop it, you know. And with that, you can't, or at least from my perspective, I can't lie from the jump. I can't be someone else from the jump. It's going to come out eventually. Or someone's going to see me on the podcast and know me in real life. They're like, bro, what's going on? So from the beginning, I said, like, I'm going to be myself. People are either going to accept it or not. The goofiness, the realness, the bullshit, the vulnerability, everything. I said, I'm going to put it all out there. But the main pillar of our podcast is relatability. Realizing, like you said, that we're all on the same fucking game. We're just playing different positions, right? And we're all trying to figure this shit out and weave in and out of life. And it's all paralleled, right? Our problems are things we're dealing with. We feel alone in those. And I always say that we feel so alone in our issues, but reality is you're dealing with shit, I'm dealing with shit. It might be slightly tweaked, but it's the same fucking narrative, you know? And so whenever I realize, like, especially in men, right? It's a man thing. It's masculine to be like, listen, I have a problem. I'm going to internalize it. I'm not going to tell the world. I'm going to figure it out. Listen, I am that way to a certain extent. I am going to figure it out. But releasing it to that world is now the weight off your back. Now the world understands, okay, listen, he's going through this for me. It was my weight or whatever. But it's like, okay, Nick had a problem looking in the mirror. I'm depressed because I can't look in the mirror. At least I could push off the depression, start working towards looking myself in the mirror, right? I know Nick, he's not Superman, he's a normal fucking dude. If he's dealing with this shit, he's not Tony Robbins, why can't I, right? And so that was kind of the whole mission of what we came to was like, listen, I always say, we're not on the crown. Like we haven't made it yet, you know? It's about the process. And the beauty for me is in the process. I said it on one episode, a lot of these like rappers and big entertainers, they always talk about the days when it was just them and their few buddies in a SoundCloud booth, right? And when they get asked, like, what days do you miss the most? It was those days. Because that's when the dream was the biggest. Now they get fed all this ego and they get, their ass kissed. And they don't realize that that's now the dream. But the dream was just doing the singing. The dream was just doing the art. Now they have all the other bullshit that comes along with it.
I love that you brought that up, especially when you're talking about rappers, because a big inspiration for me right now is actually a rapper that my buddy TJ introduced me to, Russ.
Yeah.
And what you were just saying, like, when you asked them what was like, what do you miss? He's still doing exactly what he was doing in the beginning. Right. He is still in the basement, you know what I'm saying? He still has his boys with him, and he's still doing it on his own. Yeah. And people that are finding out about him now, they're looking at him as like, oh, he's so successful, like it must have just happened. And it's like, they don't know the 10, 15, 20 years that he grinded. Yeah. He wasn't even a rapper when he started. He wasn't even the forefront or the singer, but he just realized what he wanted, and he did it every day. You say we haven't made it there yet, and I can't agree with you more. Yeah. I'm going through the trials and tribulations of trying to figure it out. But I'm not worried about anything. I tell my team, I've told Ryan from day one, I tell everyone this, Netflix and Vice is going to contact me eventually. I'm not worried about it. I know they're going to contact me, and I know I'm going to be on that platform eventually because they're going to see the message that I'm trying to give people. So why not enjoy the process getting there?
Yeah.
If you know you're going to be there, enjoy what you're doing now. And when I say enjoy the process, I'm not trying to tell everyone out there like every day is a wonderful day and you're going to enjoy all those fun moments. I'm saying enjoy the moments that scare the fuck out of you. Enjoy the moments, like prime example, Monday yesterday kicked my ass. It was a Monday in every essence. Today, a few more hurdles were thrown at me. So I took that energy, instead of getting discouraged or disappointed, I went to the gym like I do every day after work. And I took all that energy and I put forth the most amazing gym exercises I've done ever. I had personal bests on almost every exercise I did today because I wanted to enjoy what that anger and what that like wall that was getting put up against me yesterday and today. I wanted to feel that so much and then let go of it. And that's the process that I enjoy the most. That's like when you get to that point, like let's be honest, and I know this without a doubt, you guys are going to be on one of the top podcasts ever, okay? Because both you individually have that energy. And what you guys have started doing, 75 episodes, that's nothing to be like, I don't know, 75. That's 75 episodes that you guys have put out there. You guys are going to be on the top. When you get there, you're never going to forget how you guys started out.
That's right.
And that's like, I think that's what's going to change for those who become financially wealthy or celebrity level is we didn't have it to begin with. There's going to be more of us that didn't have it to begin with when we get there. So when we get there, we're going to still have that level-headedness, which I think a lot of people lose. We don't know what money is going to do to us because we take care of our bills, but we don't have that like excess money where we're just like
The
do
fuck you
whatever.
money, yeah.
The fuck you money,
Yeah.
exactly. We'll get it.
Yeah.
We're going to get there. We're going to do this often, and more people are going to like, everyone out there that watches this is going to tell one person, and then they're going to tell one person, and before you know it, you guys are going to be like getting calls by big producers and being like, listen, we want to support you. What can we do? Let's collaborate.
Yeah.
That's the process that I'm thoroughly enjoying right now. The good, but more importantly, all of the bad that comes at you when you're trying to start something from scratch.
It's interesting because when you start viewing the bad or the problems or the bullshit you deal with as learning situations, right? It's like you're playing a video game and you fall off the Mario Kart 17 times. But instead of getting frustrated, you're like, okay, if I push it past that one lane, then I unlock another character, and then I unlock another character. And if you start viewing your issues or your frustrations throughout your day as stop, take a sec, and just realize that it's a learning step. I am focusing on what's coming in. What am I doing? What am I adjusting? How am I pivoting? Okay, that's a mental note. I'm not going to do that shit next time. What you're saying parallels to what I say all the time, and it's already done. Time just hasn't caught up yet, right? You're already there. And like if you believe in quantum physics and if you believe in the manifestation and the gratitude list and all this stuff, and you have that power of belief, that conviction, where I told my wife, I said, someone could offer me $1 million tomorrow for my business. And I would go tell them to eat the fattest dick they fucking can. And the reason for that is I have so much like confidence and belief in what I'm doing. My business is probably valued at 25 grand right now, right? If that. But what I'm saying is people almost think I'm on drugs or I'm in a cult because that's how much passion I have behind it. And, you know, with this podcast, it's not easy. We both have full-time careers. I'm working all day. Pete's tattooing and running around and doing all this shit. But no matter what, every single Monday a podcast will come out. And that's because we believe in the process, you know? And that some days Pete shows up, Rob show up, and I'm like, dude, I'm fucking wiped, you know? I dealt with 7 bitchy people today. He just tattooed for 8 hours. You know, there's a lot going on. But no matter what, we're not going to stop the process for the hurdles. And if you start viewing those hurdles, like you're saying, as a temporary speed bump for an increase in that total miles per hour on that car, you might start viewing it differently. You know, you might start looking for the failures. It's like if you told a salesman, you make 20 calls today, you're going to make $100,000. But you have to get 20 no's first. they're going to try to call as many people as possible. And they're not going to get discouraged by the no's. They're going to try to get those 20 no's as fast as possible because the 21st is going to be a yes. So if you view your no's in your life as a not a failure, but as a stepping stone, you're going to get to that 21st yes.
They're lessons.
They're
That's
lessons.
all they are.
Yeah.
Right now, we have so much at our fingertips here, and I feel that people just might not know what they're supposed to be using this for. You know, a lot of people waste their time just doing this all day long. Yeah. Because I have a YouTube and because I have an Instagram and I have a multimedia company, my job is 24/7. Your job's 24/7 because even though you have the full-time job, I got a full-time job. I got my mom's bills to take care of, my company's bills. I got my own personal bills. I mean, there's not enough hours in a day, but you got to make them. So I have to sit on my phone and stay up to date with what's going on, let's say on Instagram. Mm-hmm. But what I want to do is I want to find the things that actually gear me up to keep going. Yeah. You know, because we have that mindset already. That's clear as day. We have our crystal ball. It's right here. We can see where we're going to go, and we're going to do whatever we can to get there. But more people need to realize the information on here can be helpful. It cannot only be a waste of time. Yeah. And when you say gratitude, so that was one of the episodes I watched of yours. I want to say it was probably between the 6 month and year of you guys being out, because I kind of bounced around all the different ones. And you were talking about the gratitude list, and then you were talking about how you started doing the gratitude list. Another reason why I'm here is because what I've been doing for the past 3 years is changing my life for the positive. And I started doing that stuff before I watched and when I saw that episode, again, goosebumps. I'm like, these guys, man, we're on the same path. And I literally start my day and end my day the same way. Before I get out of bed and before I close my eyes, I don't just give gratitude for myself, for my life and for breathing and seeing and having all the things that I have. I give gratitude for those who are around me. Like I said, my 9 guys, which are like, die for them basically, right? I give gratitude for them all doing what they're trying to do. I put that energy out there for them, whether they know it or not. I'm not doing it for them to be like, oh, Brad said this for me, now it's gonna work out. No, I do it for everybody quietly so that gratitude can be put out there, because the more you give that gratitude to whatever you believe in, I believe in faith, not so much religion, more spiritual, but if you give that gratitude every single day, it's gonna come back to you.
It's karma.
The universe is one of the most amazing things once you open this up and realize it. And if you are a person who manifests what you're gonna do and realizes by having pure faith, like you said you have, in the process. Someone gave me $1 million, I think about it, but I don't want it to take away from what I'm trying to get done. I don't want overnight success. I don't want a shit ton of money thrown at me to then prevent me from doing what it is I'm supposed to do, which is simply help other people elevate.
That's right. Dude, I love it. And, you know, throughout this process, right, you learn things, you change things, you adjust. But like I said, you don't learn that without being in the fight. And like one thing I say all the time on all my posts, just keep hammering. Like sometimes, right, the thing that is so slept on is just routines and monotony. Waking up and doing the same shit every single day. And you're like, dude, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And then you look in your gratitude list and you think about 6 months ago and you're like, oh shit, I'm making that much. I am this healthy. I did get that job. I did meet that person. Oh, it's fucking working, you know? And that's just more fuel to the fire. Mm-hmm. That's also a thing too, guys. If you're not a big manifestation person and a gratitude list person, watch that episode. I thought it was foo-foo, bullshit, whatever, you know. It's changed my life. I can't say factually, no, I don't know the before and after if I didn't do it or if I, you know, whatever. But also realize, like I thought the other day, right, I have a boat. This is not me bragging. I have a boat. I have a truck. I have the wife of my dreams. I have all this stuff. And I thought back to like, this is like the 17-year-old me's dream at 27, you know, 10 years later. Like, this is what I wanted, you know. Let's take a second, realize that. You know, we're always so focused on the future, but we forget to look down and see where we are right now. And sometimes if you just take a millisecond and realize how lucky you are, A, to be living in America, B, to be breathing, watching this on your phone, whatever it is, you really can't have anger. You can't have jealousy. You can't have any type of ego. And that humility, I made this post the other day too. Think about this too. Humility, and I saw this quote the other day, is not thinking yourself as less, it's thinking others of more. Right. So humility in myself is not thinking of me bringing me down. Humility, true humility in my mind is saying you could do more. Raise your standards, right? So once that gets raised and that elevation gets raised, then we all go up together. And that's really, I think, our vibe and goal is I don't want to be on the top of the hill by myself, yo.
Hell no.
I want to be about people I love and people that were part of the process and part of the journey and done seen me at my lowest and saw the climb. And that's the beauty behind it, you know?
I've literally said this to so many people. I don't want to be a billionaire by myself.
Yeah.
I want to be a millionaire with all my millionaire friends.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
All of my buddies, the closest people in my life, are all business owners or are developing something for themselves. That's just facts. Having humility or being modest is an important fact for me. And the funny thing is I had a fancy car, okay? Spent a lot of money. I thought, like, you know, treat myself to something. It had been a lot of years since I had, like, done anything for myself. And
We
so
like a nice toy.
right.
Yeah, we like
I
nice
had
toy.
it for 5 years, and then I started doing this company, and I realized, like, wow, owning a company is expensive. So I sold that truck. I got a lot of money for it. All that money, over $30,000, was spent within 2 days because it all went into the company. I fly my team around to different places. We got to do trips because we got to get content for travel and food and everything. And then I bought myself a 1987 F-150, pretty much falling apart.
Yeah.
Okay, and I've been putting a lot of time and energy in that, which is cool because I was never a car guy, and now because of my boys, I now know pretty much everything about a car, about that car.
Yeah.
But while I'm driving it, and I've spent the past 2 summers driving without AC, we just did like the whole retrofit. Now I have AC. Now the weather's cool, so I don't need it.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, while I'm driving around every single day when I'm in port, and I'm sweating balls in the car, I'm laughing. As I'm like, you know what? I needed this. I needed to have that humility to understand when I have the ability to have a multiple of cars or trucks or whatever you want to call it, I'm going to remember, and I'm always going to have this truck. That's going to be in my garage regardless. It'll be nicer by then. I'll probably have a paint job. But what it's teaching me is understanding that, you know what? You don't need to be flashy. I always, like, when I was younger, yeah, you wanted that fancy stuff. You wanted to be seen in this and go there. And the more that I do what I do for a living, which is I work for the 1% of the 1%ers. So I see how unhappy very wealthy people are. And they have everything. They have every toy possible. They have literally a staff of people on their boat catering to every need they have. And the more I do this, the less I want that. I just want to take care of my friends and my family. And what I mean by that is I'm not giving it money for free. But if my friends, when I get to that financial freedom, have an idea or have a business, all right, let's work on it. Let's figure this out. How much money do you need? All right, well, let's make out a plan. Let's figure this out and let's elevate you. That's why I want money. I want my mom to come into the private jet with me.
Yeah.
Not because I want to be flashy, because I want to do that for my mom.
Correct.
That's it. You know, I want all of my buddies who have businesses to be successful. So, like, here's a big thing that I came across a reel the other day, and I started laughing at the importance of it. People go to, like, their friends' places, right? The bars, the restaurants, whatever, and it's like, oh, yeah, you're gonna hook up, give me a hookup, give me a hookup. And not saying that I wasn't like that before, because for years I was going to a bar that I didn't pay $1. Like, literally, I went to my buddy's bar, never paid $1 for anything. And then this reel comes across, and I laugh about it, because it's like, if your friends have a business, why wouldn't you want to pay more? You want to support that business, right? And that's a big thing why I wanted to come on here as well, is because, so there's 2 of you, right? Now, let's be honest, you probably know 100 people each. It wouldn't be much of a stretch being down here in West Palm Beach for plenty of years. And one thing about owning a business is nobody's going to support you until you have something to support. That's an unfortunate reality. Now, there's 7 billion people in the world today. When I was a teenager, there was 6 billion. That's a big difference. There's 7 billion people in the world today. And what people need to understand when they're starting their own business is you don't need your family and your friends to support you. They're not going to be the ones that are going to do that. I'm not saying they're not. you know, TJ, he's the first one to watch every video I post every week. Him and my mom, first two views every week. But not every one of your friends and family are going to support you. You don't need that. But if you're trying to create something, why aren't you supporting them? That's the important train of thought that I think people need to have more of. So when that reel came across my phone and I watched it, I was like, okay, that makes sense. Why do I want free shit from everybody when they're people I respect and I want to be successful? I should put money into their companies.
It's such a good point. Pete and I talk about this. I got tattooed 2 weeks ago. And before Pete's wrapping up, cleaning me, if you don't get tattooed from Pete, fuck you. He's just the best. But he tattooed me before he's even done. I said, you know, what do I owe? You know, like, it's just as simple as that. There is no conversation. It's that simple because I want to support my friends, right? I don't want the deal. Like you said, I want to be treated as a client. This is work. This is professional. I don't want the friend half-ass tattoo. I want Pete's best work. Why would I pay for the, you know, the friend and family's price with the best work? That's just not how it happens. And so realize that. Also, another thing is I had a whole episode on the internal versus external. A lot of the reasons that these very wealthy people are unhappy is because everything's from the external. They're looking for the compliments. They're looking for people to run up them in transactional relationships. And they're just throwing money. That's the reason people like them. And that's the reason people date them. And that's around them. Same thing with business. You know, you're going to start your business or whatever endeavor you go down. And a part of you subconsciously is going to want to lean on others for that support, for that foundation. You can't lean on fucking anyone. It has to be all internal. They're not going to be with you on those hard nights. They're not going to be with you when you're figuring your shit out. They're not going to be with you on hard decisions, whether to get an office, whether to not get an office. It's all on you, right? Take that ownership and run with it. Take that ownership and put that weight on yourself and then make the decisions knowing that you're the fully one that make it. You didn't make a decision because a friend of a friend told you to. You didn't make a decision or not do something because mom told you, it's not a great idea. I dropped out of school at 19. Both parents said it was a stupid fucking idea, you know? I make more money than 90% of the people out there. That's not a brag. That's to show you that if you believe in yourself so much, anything is reality, really. And so, yes, I love compliments. I love affirmations, right? But just like my body image, if I know I wake up in the gym, I eat right, and I work hard that day, that's all I need. If I know with my business, I wake up and bust my ass for my clients and building houses and all this stuff, that's all I need. Compliments are great, right? But actions have weight. Words have none, right? If I had $1 for every person that said, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, or I want to do this, or I want to do that, I'd be a billionaire. None of it matters. What matters is action. You have an idea, start it tomorrow. Start an LLC tomorrow. Start the process tomorrow. Because tomorrow's going to come and go, the next day is going to come and go, and then 3 years later, you're going to say, damn, that was a pretty good idea. I should have done that. Yeah, you should have.
I mean, realistically, time's going to pass regardless.
Yep.
No matter what happens, tomorrow's gone. Why not do something before it's gone? That's the whole point. Like, we're here for an unknown amount of time, right? Now, some people will grind or think they grind because they're given something. Now, a lot of people that I, you know, am experienced with have been given money because, you know, that's their life. Now, I'm not hating on them. If I was born into a wealthy family and I was able to borrow $200,000 to do something, fuck yeah, I would do it. Why wouldn't I? I'd be stupid not to. But if you have the time anyways, right now, instead of just waking up in a blah mood, going to your job, coming home, eating dinner, and watching TV, what did you do? Like, nothing. You have the opportunity of life. You have the opportunity to do something now that'll be here forever. You won't be. No one's going to remember you in 100 years, right? But if you do something substantial to help everybody, that idea of you will be there forever. And for me, that's literally like, so I've been cooking for 31 years. Okay, that's a bit weird to say that out loud. So my birthday's coming up in December. 31 years I've been cooking, and I thought for the longest time that was my gift. Like, this is what I'm meant to do, because I did it as a child, like helping my parents. I did it, you know, through high school as a part-time job. Then I moved out at 19. I also dropped out of college, and I was just fucking around in kitchens. I was having the best time of my life: sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Hell yeah.
That's the kitchen life, the hospitality industry, right? Wasn't thinking about a damn thing. And then I got into this industry where I'm cooking for wealthy people and I'm getting paid a lot of money, and it's not a brag. I was able to help my family because the amount of money that coming in was so much more than the money I needed to put out. So I was able to do things for them. That was awesome. But then the job itself was getting routine. Yep. And I got to be honest with you, I don't love, sorry for anyone that knows me, sorry for anyone that might work with me that watches this, I don't love being a yacht chef anymore. It's a means to an end. However, Mike Tyson said, this quote I love, do what you hate to do as if you love to do it. For about a year, I was doing the job and I hated it, and that aura and that energy was going out in my job. I was miserable. There was no happiness at my job. And then when I came across that quote, I was like, wow, do what you hate to do as if you love to do it. So I started putting that in my head. And like everything, everything's a practice. Becoming good at a podcast, becoming good at a YouTube, it's a practice. You got to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. Yoga, gym, everything. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take that quote and I'm going to start putting that into my practice when I go to work. And all of a sudden now work is easy because I put it into my head. Do it like you love it, even though you don't enjoy it, because it's the drama and everything else. So I started doing that. Now my job's easy. I'm getting paid well. I go to work happy. I leave work happy. But once I started my company and I started meeting individuals and expressing to them, explaining to them what my company is and what it's going to be, that's where I realized what I'm supposed to be doing.
That's your spirit. Yeah.
100%. I'm supposed to help other people get to where they want to go. And by us showing people our vulnerability and showing them, doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter your financial background, who you are, how old you are, if you are willing to put forth the effort and put forth the energy and give people a positive message, then you're going to help so many other people do the same thing.
Facts.
So if any one person out there watches this episode or watches any one of the 75 you've already put out there and one day comes up to you and says, guys, you changed my life. I watched your episode, I started following you all the time, and your message that goes out there got me to go start my own business. That is more valuable than any dollar bill you get later.
And the amazing thing is that's happened. And like I said, from the jump, I said all it takes is just one. If I change one person's perspective or life or position, that's all the hell I want, you know? A question to you and kind of, I guess it would be a word of advice is like, for a while, obviously you were practicing tattooing. You were apprenticing, you were learning the whole steps behind it. Yeah. What was the shift in, okay, hospitality is done, and then I'm full on with this?
So, I mean, once I had the idea in my head, again, I'm a big law of attraction person, visualizer, gratitude list. From day one, I was writing it in my gratitude list. I'm so happy and grateful for my rapid success as a tattoo artist. I had a whole paragraph that I was writing just about my growth in tattooing before I was even done with the apprenticeship, you know? So I had the vision in my head from the very beginning without even really knowing how I was going to obtain it still. And I had a backup plan just out of, you know, trying to be responsible. I had a lot of bills and stuff, so I wasn't just going to like quit my restaurant job and say, okay, this is what I'm doing. At first, I had got a job bartending at Bradley's, which I used to work there when I was like 17, so I got my job back at Bradley's, and I was just going to be put on the bartending schedule like 5 days a week, and then on my 2 days off, practice tattooing until I could slowly take on more tattooing and take on less bartending. I did that for 1 week, the 5 days behind the bar and 2 days of tattooing, and just from that like first couple weeks of promoting myself through the apprenticeship, the second week I think I showed up for like one bartending shift and I was tattooing all of the other days, and that was my last time I ever went to Bradley's. So it was literally like a maybe 8-day transition, and I think I owe a lot of that to the gratitude list and feeling so confident in myself and knowing that there's no going back after this, you know? And not out of like humility, not saying like I can't go back because that'll be embarrassing, but knowing that once I was on that path, it felt like such the right thing to be doing, and it fulfilled me. You know, I was kind of like you were saying about cooking. I was really burnt out in the restaurant business. I had been doing it for like 8 years, from the 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. schedule, and just wasn't happy doing it. You know, I was showing up because it was a paycheck, and it was really all I had known. I also dropped out of college when I was 19. and got my job back at Bradley's when I came home from Tallahassee, and that's how I landed at Kachina and 123 eventually. And it was really all that I knew and all that I had been working towards. So like my plan before tattooing was like, I guess I'm going to open a bar one day. But then, you know, you're burnt out, and I don't even own a bar yet, you know? And it's not like once you own the place, it gets any easier. Now all the responsibility's on you. So the thought was really in my head is like, is this really what I want to be doing for the rest of my life? I'm still young and I don't even enjoy doing it anymore. And once I started tattooing and like getting to reconnect with my art background, because I used to draw and paint all the time as a kid. I went to art school when I was younger, but I just never saw a career in it at that age, you know? I didn't know that there was a way to monetize art other than, you know, being some famous artist, and I didn't really see that as being practical.
Dude, my father was a lawyer. He had his own law firm, okay? And it's so hilarious because I was an art student in high school. But again, this is the different era. My father was a professional, so he thought that's what, you know, his 3 boys would have to become a lawyer, a doctor, something of that nature. I wasn't good at anything. I was too busy getting high and fucking off, basically, when I was in high school. But I could draw, and I loved art class. And he always said, well, starving artist, you're not going to be able to do anything. I went to graphic design in college for 1 month, hated school, gone, and again, just fell back into the cooking aspect. But the food was able to be artistic for me, because that's where I got that creative juice back on it.
Sure.
But you getting back to your roots,
Right.
and what you said a moment ago was, you know, basically promoting yourself. And that's what I think people really need to understand. Here's 3 guys totally confident in themselves, totally confident in where they're going in life and what they're going to achieve. But we are all promoting ourselves. That is the thing that people need to understand. You don't just wake up and it happens. And half the times, depending on budget, you might have to grind. And what you said earlier about the everyday grind is, and Kevin Hart said this, true grind is doing the same thing over and over and over again every day, and inches. You're not getting miles ahead the next day, but you keep at it. You keep chiseling, you keep grinding to get there. And self-promotion is so important. You can't be afraid to go out there in public and do things. Like when I'm at the gym, everyone knows you go to the gym, you're dealing with your demons, most of us, right? You're going there to like release some energy. But there's a lot of people there. They're all same thing. They're all going through shit, like you said. And once you're there for a while, you notice individuals are also there at the same times as you. And whether they're brave enough to come over and give you that head nod or the fist bump, or you do it to them, that breaks the ice. Now you kind of have an untalked about friendship because you're both doing the same thing, right? And then eventually the earbuds come off and you have a quick little chat.
That's so true.
You know what I do every time I'm at the gym and I notice someone that has probably the same vibe as me?
Right to the earbuds?
Dude, no. I give it a sec. But I put a package in my gym bag, a book, a t-shirt, and my bag for my company. And then once we start having a conversation, hey, listen, I got a company, I brought you a shirt, I brought you a book, take some time, read it, check us out on Instagram, let me know what you think. And you know what happens most times, because I go to LA Fitness up here at City Place, Rosemary Square, most of these individuals know somebody that knows me.
Right.
And where I get the compliment is the person that
middle
they
person,
know speaks volumes about me.
Right.
Now, all I've done is ever in my life is be me.
Yeah.
I don't know how not to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm an emotional person. I have no problem sharing that. When in my 20s, I kept everything bottled the fuck down and I'd blow up sometimes. I wasn't a happy human being. Now, expressive. I don't give a fuck what people think about me. I don't care what they think about how I dress, how I look. I'm me. I'm in my sweatsuit phase of life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a fuck. Most bars I go to, I'm wearing sweat shorts, knee-high socks sometimes because that's my style.
It's a vibe.
And I wear my fucking company t-shirt 99% of the time. I put on a dress shirt the other night because the boys, we went out for a nice dinner and we all got, suited up basically.
Pinky up vibes.
Yeah.
You got to once in a while.
First time I've done it in like a year and a half, But the self-promotion is so important. You cannot be afraid. If you want to be successful 2022, this is what people are doing, putting your stuff out there in public for the entire world to critique. That's the thing people need to understand. And when you do that, you cannot be afraid of what people are going to say. Because haters are haters, and all they're doing is giving you free advertising because they're out there talking about you. And if people are haters, the people they talk to know them as who they are.
Yeah.
And what the smart person's going to do is listen to the hater, nod their head at them, then they're going to go home and they're going to get online. And they're going to be like, oh.
It's a pretty good looking guy, that Nick dude. You know,
You know what I'm saying? Millennial
Yeah.
mentality. What's this about? Okay, yeah, well, these motherfuckers are good.
Yeah.
But that's my whole point. Self-promotion, don't be afraid of it. If you want to be successful,
Personal
you have
brand.
to realize your shoulders, just like you just said.
Yeah.
No one's doing anything for you. There's
Yeah.
no free ticket.
Yep.
And to that point too, and to the point of grinding, like back to being in the restaurant, like I wouldn't have had the success in tattooing and building my clientele in tattooing had I not spent the 8 years in the restaurant, shaking hands every day, making relationships and meeting people, because those were all my clients when I first started. And even still, like, tattooing is such a word of mouth business, and we say it all the time, like, just always be a good person, because you never know who you're talking to and how your paths are going to cross again in the future. And I mean, I wouldn't have the career that I have now if it wasn't for the 8 years of making friends and relationships in the restaurant business. So I wasn't necessarily happy the entire time, but it wasn't a waste of time either. I was grinding towards something that I didn't even realize I was doing. And now I have this book of clientele that has given me the career that I have.
You were in the process without even knowing you're in the process.
100%.
And so many of you out there are literally in that process right now. You just don't know it because you haven't figured out what lights that fire inside of you.
Right.
Or you're closed off to it. I say all the time, people expect this life change to show up at your front door in a package and give you directions of what to do. Maybe that life change is that person that you bumped into at Starbucks. Maybe that life change is a friend of a friend of a friend who you meet at a Halloween party, and you're like, damn, that was an interesting person, right? So take every opportunity with an open mind. Don't look for transactional relationships, but maybe that dude who you bumped into who is super dope, and you're like, wow, I kind of want to be like that guy. Hit him up. Yo, there's nothing cooler. I maybe get like one DM a week, but there's nothing cooler than like the DM that's like, hey man, you're doing great, keep it up. I don't give a fuck how popular they are. That is dope. And I will A, respond to everyone, but B, it makes my fucking day, dude. People they don't realize the value in compliments. Good, genuine compliments. Like, dude, you're doing great lately. Or keep it up, or I'm fucking proud of you. Like, little things like that said genuinely mean the world to someone, especially on your rough days where you're like, dude, I needed that.
Well, you don't even know what people are like. We can all admit we all go through shit, but we don't know who that stranger is, and we don't know what shit they're going through. My best friend back in the day, when I would use that term, Sean Bradford, I'd lived with him for a couple of years. He's 2 years older than me. And I used to be a dick to a lot of people. And to this day, there's people out there who probably say he's a dick. But whatever, I don't give a fuck anymore.
Not a dick.
That's who I used to be. You know what I mean? I had to be that guy back then to become this individual. But he said to me, what you were saying, like, he was just always nice to everyone. And he said, I'm nice to everyone for two reasons. A, it takes no effort on my part to be nice to people. And you never know down the line when something's going to happen to you where you might need a word, an ear, help in any shape or form, and those are the people that are going to jump to help you because you were just a genuinely nice individual to them.
And stop asking the question, what's in it for me? Hey, can you help me move today? What's in it for me? Or hey, can you do this? What's in it for me?
Yeah.
Just start doing things without getting stuff in return. And maybe, just maybe, that stuff will come back to you tenfold. I so believe in karma. I believe in doing things without being asked. I believe in giving love and presents and all this stuff without requirements or restrictions or expecting anything in return. And that is the definition of genuine, in my opinion, right? Genuine is it's just real, right? I want to help you because you are you. When Pete was moving 10 times in the past 2 months, you know, I sent him a text that said, hey man, I'm busy. So let me know if you need a hand. And he said no, but it probably was just comforting to him saying, hey man, if that couch is too heavy, I can call Nick. He's going to be there, you know? Yeah. And that's the type of friendship we have where it's like, it's not so much mushy, it's just, there's so much comfort in just knowing you can call someone and they're gonna be there. And it's so real. Last thing to you about that initial question is, what would you say to someone that is just paralyzed, right? They keep stuttering, they keep about to step and then they pull back. What would you say to push them to take that next step?
It was a point that Bradley made earlier, and it's just that if you're unhappy with your current circumstances, the only thing that's going to change it is taking action and doing something different tomorrow. Like, what are the steps that we need to take to get there? And tomorrow when we wake up, let's do that. Tomorrow's a new day. You don't have to be paralyzed by this anxiety or by not being where you want to be right now. all you can do is start taking baby steps in that direction, and before you know it, a year's gone by and you're where you want to be. And to the point of like my gratitude list when I first started tattooing, the numbers that I was writing down, I want to be making this much per day, I was thinking that was, 6 months to a year away. And after writing it every day for a month, before I knew it, I had to bump those numbers up and double them because I was achieving it. And I think that's why there's so much power in the gratitude list also, because it reminds you every day of where you want to be and helps you take those steps in the right direction.
Have you guys read, obviously you guys have probably read Law of Attraction.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you guys read Think and Grow Rich?
100%.
Okay. So these things that we're all talking about right now, I try not anymore to give unsolicited advice to my
Yeah,
friends.
we say that all the time.
Because I used to all the time.
Yeah.
And then I realized, you know what? They're not at the same point in their life as I am in my life. And I started implementing because I read Think and Grow Rich twice back to back. Read it, went back with a highlighter, read it again. And I started implementing all those things. Your chief aim. I say it, it's in my phone. I say it in the morning when I wake up. I have a little meditation time by myself. I wake up super early. My dog and I go on the porch, set it up with the incense. I have like, Buddhas and temples and waterfalls, and this is my serenity time basically. And I say my chief aim in the morning. Then before I go to bed, literally laying in my bed, the very last thing after I give gratitude for all the people in my life and everything that they're doing, I read off my chief aim out loud, because auto-suggestion, look it up. It's very important. If you want to become anything, you need to say it out loud often. And I've noticed things are starting to happen. And it's weird to me because I never read in high school. I paid people to do my homework,
Yeah.
literally. And now, another thing I came across, because once you start practicing things, and for anyone that might have anxiety or depression or anything of that's overwhelming for them, that they think they can't get to where we are, everything's a practice. So all you have to do is take that little bit tomorrow or tonight to implement into your life, and then add that again the next day. And when you do that little bit of practice on everything every day, before you know it, you're not even practicing, you're just doing.
Correct.
And that to me is huge. I found out that if you read 20 pages a day, 20 pages, you will read on average 104 books a year. Average book on Amazon about $15 times 104. That's a fairly inexpensive education on whatever it is that you might, want to learn about. Me, I want to learn about myself. I want to learn about the world. I want to learn how to help other people. And being able to do that, you first have to help yourself. So by doing things like reading 20 pages a day, I've knocked out, I'm probably like 25 books since I've been like really doing it. Life happens, so sometimes your days are busy. It doesn't matter if you miss a day. I'm just saying, on average, if you do it. I'm at the point now where I think one of my biggest successes is I know who I am. And I'm happy with that person. I'm happy with every mistake I've made in my life, because every mistake was able to create a new person in me. And I love that motherfucker. Like I look in the mirror like every day, and I tell myself how happy I am that I've become this individual. And going back earlier to what you said, when it comes to like men and the unfortunate stigma that we have, is that you're not supposed to do those things because you'll be laughed at. Fuck you if you're laughing.
Fuck you.
Seriously, I love who I am. I've put a great deal of effort and time to become a better human being for myself, which then inevitably becomes a better human being for those around me. And if you do that regularly, the person next to you, without you giving that unsolicited advice, is going to start changing their life. You don't even have to say anything to them anymore. Just keep doing it for you. I talk to my people about, my friends and my coworkers, about being selfish. There's two ways of being selfish. Being a prick, doing the wrong thing, as most of us men did in our 20s, early 20s. We're selfish and we worried about number one, and that was it.
What's in it for me?
Exactly. Then there's being selfish for yourself, which is not wrong. When I say that, it means we all have a lot of acquaintances. Being in the industries that we've been and mingling with the people we do, we have 100 or more acquaintances. People that say they're, oh yeah, this is my friend, this is my friend. Okay. Well, those people aren't really your friend. They're not talking highly about you when you're around. So as a growing person, I took all those acquaintances and I went like this. Rolled them up, Done.
Yeah.
I mean, have you hit me up in the past month, in the past year? No, not at all. I have a small group of people. 4 of us live on the same property, and when it comes to calling someone that you need something, there's no question.
There's no question.
It's just where, when, let's go. Sunday, all right, we got you. And that's the greatest feeling for me. Like, I grew up in a home where we moved constantly. I've never gone to a school for more than 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was always the new kid. That's tough on a child, you know, but that also teaches you how to become social. At least that's the way I took it. I just put myself out there, whether it worked or not. I got picked on, I got made fun of, but you know what? Now I can go into any situation and meet people and not care. So it's taking your acquaintances that don't really add any positivity to your life, and just kind of like, you don't have to be rude about it. You can be selfish in a nice way. You can literally remove yourself from a conversation or from a situation. Oh, dude, you know what? I totally forgot. I gotta bounce, man. I'll hit you up later. And you just remove yourself. You're not being a dick. You're not like, yo, dude, I don't like what you're saying. You just, you know, I have 3 things in my head before I speak. Is it true? Is it kind? And is it necessary? You might be right, but do you have to prove the other person wrong?
And the thing is, you have a certain gas tank full of energy throughout every day or every year or whatever. And it's not necessarily bad energy, but expelling that energy that you have on people that are not going to return that energy here, it's just a waste of energy. And that doesn't mean that we are talking ill will on any of these people. Listen, I wish you the best. People that are just slowly flowing out of my life, I wish you the best. But there's a reason Pete and I are getting offices right next to each other. I made this post last night.
I saw it.
And I
love
said,
it.
isn't that ironic that they say that you are the 5 closest friends to you?
Done.
We're getting fucking offices at the same exact time next to each other. I mean, if you don't see the power of that right in front of you as 27-year-old business owners side by side, I don't know how else to explain it to you. You know, and this is no shade on that, but if every single Sunday from 1 to 8 you're watching football with your dick in your hand with your buddies, and you're like, dude, fuck the world, man. The world's so unkind. Maybe start looking around at your buddies and saying, oh shit, that's me, that's me, that's me. What am I doing? And start to make changes and start to just associate yourself around people who you want to be like or you aspire to. Last thing on something that's been touched on a lot here is, just because you're good at something doesn't mean you're meant to do it. Pete was a great fucking bar manager. You are a great fucking chef for sure. And that doesn't mean that they're meant to do it. I would probably be a great custodian. That doesn't mean I'm meant to fucking sweep floors, yo. You know? And so realize that just because you have talent in something or you excel in something, but you're not fulfilled, that is the answer. It's the fulfillment, right? Do you go home happy, or do you go home and say that's worth it? Because some days you're not going to go home happy, but is it worth it? And without a doubt, every single my day in my mind, I say it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. Find the thing that it's worth, right? And put all your energy into that. Find the girl that is worth it. Find the girl that it's worth cutting out, going out every Saturday. Find the girl that it's worth saying this is going to be it for the next 40 years of my life, right? Find the job or the friends that it's worth, that you know you're going to give that energy to that friend and you know it's going to come back in return. So, and don't get discouraged by saying, okay, my last 10 friends were dicks. Fuck the world, man. Because that's a thing too. Like, last 3 job endeavors I tried sucked. Last 10 friends I tried sucked. Keep trying. Keep fucking trying, because there's good people out there. There's good jobs out there. There's good women, good guys out there. So don't let that mistake or that bad experience change your perspective on things. Seriously. And the last thing to the analysis paralysis thing I kind of mentioned with Pete is the planning should be 0.01% of it, and the action should be 99.9% of it. People try to come up with this elaborate plan for things, and they make every step, every micro step, every next step. And what they don't realize is that they haven't even fucking started yet. They have this 10-page fucking plan for a business that they don't even have an LLC for yet. Start micro. Okay, I'm going to start a business. What's the name of it? This is it. Tomorrow I'm starting.
And doing that is so simple. Like, my group of friends, everyone pretty much owns their own company. And then TJ, we call him the kid. He's the youngest of the group. He does not own a business, but he does now.
Yeah.
And literally all it was our buddy Hottie Brian, he owns a thing called Frio Cryotherapy. He's up in Tequesta. And literally, we're sitting in our back house because Cameron, he owns Hellbent Custom Garage. Brian owns Frio Cryotherapy, and I own Lyfe Choices. And TJ works at a mechanic shop called Fantastic Finishes at West. And the four of us share another house on our property, and that's like our man cave, basically, yeah. And so we're sitting there, like, honestly, maybe a week ago, and boom, it was just like, all right, what's the name of your company going to be, TJ? Because he wants to start like buying. He's a Porsche expert, basically, and so he wants to start buying Porsches and flipping them. And so boom, right there in the room, took about 20 minutes. Brian got the information on the phone. LLC, boom, boom, boom. What is it called? Okay, boom, boom, boom. Okay, pay, boom, boom, boom. Done.
Yeah.
Micro.
Yeah.
Right.
Get it done. And he's literally, I'm so proud of him that he's done that, because he has the best opportunity being surrounded by all of us. And like I said, there's about 9 of us. Another friend of ours, Brian, he owns BA Electric, which is an electric company that he does a lot of stuff downtown here. TJ has this opportunity to learn from all of these guys and all the mistakes we're doing. And he's now, he's going to be a very successful business owner because he's starting small. Don't worry about a big ass plan. Just start going. I have no idea when I started on YouTube as someone at my age that didn't grow up with this type of stuff. But again, I'm not caring how many subscribers I have. I don't care how many views I have. It's all gonna come eventually. Do I know what I'm doing 100%? Fuck no.
No one knows.
Oh, you have this. You have a fucking laptop. You have YouTube. You have shit that will help you learn as you go. And the best way to do it is start, because every month that goes by, every 2 months that I sit down with my team and we reevaluate the situation, we're learning. We're, okay, you know what? I am successfully failing so far at what I'm doing, and I'm happy about it. You know what I'm saying? Because every week that we post a video, and I don't typically look at how many views I get, I look at the video. Okay, well, I kind of like that. I like the way the angles were, but you know what? There's a bit too much of this or not enough of that. All right, let's look into that. Or wait, all that written stuff underneath the video, oh, we need to beef that up a bit more. I didn't make a big business plan when I started. I didn't even have a shit ton of money in the bank when I started. I just said, you know what? I can't be put in a position where I could lose a job as an employee anymore. I need to take charge of myself. And in order to do that, you gotta start small and grow it.
You know, it's funny you say that, and this is real, guys, too. Not dealing with shit until shit is in front of you. I am a 27-year-old business owner in the construction industry. I just got an office, right? The biggest thing I'm getting every single day with people that are learning I'm getting an office is, oh my God, are you sure about that housing market? What's going to happen if it goes down, right? It's a little iffy right now. Inflation's going up. The housing market's plateaued. What are you going to do if it crashes? I don't fucking know. Yo, am I a genie? All I know is if it does crash, the fittest will survive. Okay, maybe that will weed out some bullshitters. And maybe I go fucking broke. All I know is that's not going to keep me up at night, right? If it does crash, then we're going to deal with it when it's there. But am I going to get anxiety over that? No. If you do a tattoo and you fuck it up, what's going to happen? You don't know, right? But all you know is you're not going to fuck it up if you don't do the tattoo. So how about we do the tattoo, we adjust if there's a little tweak that has to happen, and you move on. But now you'll have that experience. Also to that thing where it's like, you know, your friend maybe is not so much inspired, but he's like, I know Brad. Brad's not a fucking Superman. If Brad can figure it out, maybe I can figure it out, right?
That's literally my whole point.
That's it.
Yeah.
And like, you're very Anthony Bourdain-esque, right? Food, travel, experience. Anthony Bourdain was in a kitchen, smoking cigs, screaming at his line chefs for years. I didn't even know he was a writer, right? Wrote several books. And year after year, this introvert, this very creative, very eccentric man became Anthony Bourdain. And when you look at his life story, I watched a documentary on him, you really realize, like, oh my God, it's just he chipped away at it. All we know is Anthony Bourdain on, you know, the big news or the big TV shows. But all the 20 years of work that came before that,
the grind.
It's gone. All people are going to remember are the big successes, the headlines, this and that. They never, ever, because it's boring. No one wants to talk about the monotonous bullshit you got to do every day. No one wants to talk about Pete fucking sanitizing his chair for 2 hours. No, it's not fun. but you want to see the tattoo in the end. No one wants to talk about the 9 months worth of construction, but they want to see the after pictures, right? So realize that all this stuff you see is a highlight reel, and that all the stuff that goes into it 99% of the time is behind closed doors. And then if you have that shitty day, that's all right. Wake up the next day, attack it again. You have another shitty day, that's all right. Wake up and attack it again. And keep that open mind and that perspective. So to you, you're a chef. What's your favorite cuisine?
Okay, so I am fascinated by the Asian culture. Always was as a young child. And so when I took my trip around the world, I started slowly, like a week here, 2 weeks there, as I went kind of southern hemisphere. And once I made my way over, which if you do pick up your copy of Meet Me Where I Met You,
Pick up a copy.
it goes into detail there as to where I went. But I ended up spending a month in Bali and a month in Thailand before moving on. And that's where I deflated. That is where life just kind of slowed down for me and opened up my fucking mind. That was a big changing for me. So I took cooking lessons while I traveled around the world in certain countries, and Balinese food blew me away. I just love the flavor. And I find that Asian culture has more depth of flavor than most other cuisines that I've tried. And like I said, personally in my life, I've been to over 50 countries. So Thai food, hands down, favorite food to eat. Indian second, Balinese would be third.
Very eclectic, Brad. All right.
Yep, I love it. I absolutely love it.
A lot of Asian culture has some weird stuff going on in there.
Absolutely.
Some fisheye vibes,
Yeah,
you know. Yeah. I done went to Singapore. I done went to Cambodia. Went through Vietnam.
Nice.
Sushi is not too big over there, believe it or not. You
Not
know,
until you go to Japan.
the American Chinese food's not too big. You know, I'm asking for orange chicken, and they're saying no bueno. You know, it's very different. You have to have an open mind on
Absolutely.
it. To be honest, if you close your eyes and just eat it, it's pretty damn good.
It
you
is
know?
so good.
You got to get over the aesthetics of it. It's simple, but like you said, there's depth to it. You know, and sometimes, especially in life, but in cooking, sometimes simple is the best. You know,
dude. People ask me like, "How'd you make that?" Or, "Oh my God, it tastes so wonderful." And it's usually the simplest recipes.
Yeah.
Creme brulee, which is pretty much on every fancy restaurant's menu, right? It's a custard that is cooked in a water bath, and all that means is like 2 or 3 ingredients, and that's it. And then you caramelize some sugar on top of it. But people love it.
I love creme
I
brulee.
do.
Yeah.
You're a creme brulee guy?
Yeah, I love
I'm
that.
a creme brulee guy. I do like the crusted sugar on top
Yeah.
though, with the torch.
Hey, next time you have a creme brulee, it's very important. I taught my team this. So I have, basically, at the very least, there's Shelby, who owns the production company, and Brooks, which is her creative, and myself. That's the minimum amount of people that go on a trip. And then we have one of their other videographers, Casey, and then sometimes Seth comes on, which is Shelby's husband. And my assistant, who's moving down here for Detroit, he'll start coming on the trips. But I take for granted the knowledge that I have about food, because it's just second nature to me. You have a lot of information, obviously, about construction that I probably would have no fucking clue about. So when I take them out at the end of the trip, any trip that we travel around doing, I always take them out for a dinner, and I try to like share my experience and stuff. So now the girls know when they go out for dinner what to check when they have a creme brulee. And the first thing, the very first
They tap
thing,
the top?
Oh my God! They take the spoon, and you got to like make that circle to hear if you hear the crackling of the, and then they go, and you hear it crack. And then there's the smoothness of like the egg, make sure it's not been scrambled or curdled, and then like when it touches your lips, it has to have that velvety, smooth texture to it. Those 3 things, that's all you got to do to knock it out of the park. A lot of people fuck it up.
Now, with the Asian cuisine, is that what you like cooking the most, or is that what you like eating the most? And is it the same?
Very popular question, being that I do cook for a living. This is what I say. I love cooking because I love changing people's emotions through food.
It's pretty fun.
I love it. Like, listen, there's a lot of work, and like you said, people don't want to see the monotonous part of it. They don't want to see the shopping. They don't want to see the prep work. They want to see that gorgeous artistic plate in front of them. So when you think about how much effort goes in to that plate that comes in front of you that you literally smash in like 30 seconds. So like, I love creating food for people that appreciate it.
The experience.
Exactly. Now, doing what I do for a living, the appreciation isn't always there. But again, I still love when that plate goes out and it is just like exactly as I like the conception in my brain before I made it is on the plate, and I just give it to the girls, and they take it out, and I'm just like, fuck yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
And then when I go out at the end of the dinner, you know, and like everyone's always nice, like, hey, you know, but when the guests start asking me about the food, that's when I'm like, all right, I nailed that.
Yeah.
I do tend to cook a lot of Thai food because it's what I love to eat. So therefore, I've tried to
Incorporate it.
become very, very good at it. But again, I have to have world cuisine knowledge because on a boat, you can be asked for anything at any time. You can literally have a menu ready and prepped, and someone out there can just switch it and say, can I get this instead? And you got to rock and roll. There's no question. There's no saying no. Say, sure, no problem, I got you. Could be doing 5 different meals for 6 people. You know what I'm saying? Italian food, I enjoy cooking that as well because, again, when you do something, when you practice something so often and it becomes an extension of you, I like cooking when this turns off.
Facts. That's it, and just let the kind of everything come to. And cooking's a cool thing because it's manifestation fast forward, right? It's like, ooh, that's a good idea. Boom, 2 hours later, it's in front of you. You know. All right, let's just say you slaved away, you made the best tuna tartare you had in your life, right? You come out, you put it on the yacht table, boom. 5 minutes later, your girl comes back and says, God damn, they hated that. They want you to cook something else. Are you going out there and you say, you eat that damn tuna tartare?
I mean, I always do this when I say knock on wood, but
no, never.
It never happened.
Hey!
Now, usually, like we always have a menu. Like my job, basically, before I go to bed, I have the next day's menu written on my whiteboard. And what we can do in the future is we could probably do a little quick walkthrough on the yacht, so you can kind of get a vibe as to what actually goes on behind the scenes, not the below deck bullshit.
I was gonna
That was
going to
be my next
I
question.
knew that was
I was
coming.
gonna ask you.
I knew that was coming. We can talk about that in a second. But so I get because I'm just an organized individual, so I get my menu for the next day already on the whiteboard, so that when I wake up in the morning, I start my prep.
Ding, ding.
And then when the chief stew wakes up, which is, you know, I'm usually up an hour or two before most people, you know, she gets that menu at the table at breakfast so the guests can read it. Now, if someone says, I don't like tuna tartare because I don't eat raw fish, can he do something else? Then yes, that comes back to me, and you have to. Like, I literally set up my galley like a grocery store. And when I order all my proteins or go, you know, purvey them myself, I always have an abundance of extra. So that when someone says, oh, can I get like a burger, or can I just get like some kind of chicken dish? Absolutely no problem.
Bingo.
And that's why I wake up at 4 in the morning, 4:30, and I'm in the galley. Like, I shower and I get up there. I have my own pot of coffee in the galley, and I just slowly, I'm not rushing, get my day going, because when those situations happen, I don't want to be chasing my tail, and I don't want to say no to somebody.
Facts. What's the best way to eat a steak? Will you cook a well done steak?
I wouldn't. So this is funny. 99% of the time, I don't allow the girls to ask the guests how they want the steak cooked. Steaks cooked medium rare. No
That's a
further.
factor, yeah.
No further. Okay. Now, I spent 10 years at a steakhouse in Canada, right? So, like, if I don't know how to cook a steak right, I just seriously fire me instantly. But again, people ask me, like, do you mind when people like put salt and pepper? Like, again, if someone ordered a well done steak, I'm not gonna be upset with it. I'm gonna take that nice, gorgeous, thick steak, butterfly it, flatten it out, burn it to shit, and put it out there. We all grew up with different parents, and our parents might not have been chefs. They did what they could do with what they knew. So I always tell people, try things twice. You know, the way your parent made it may not. I didn't like mushrooms and pasta growing up. Okay, no offense to my mom. Love you, Mom. You're gonna come on all the talk shows with me when we get there. No worries. But there were certain foods I didn't like what she made. I love mushrooms, and I'll eat the hell out of a good pasta.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you have to be okay to opening your mind to that. But I'm never gonna be upset with someone adding chili flakes or salt or pepper. Everyone has a different palate, but just give me the opportunity to give you a plate of food done right. And then if you taste it and you never want it, because a lot of people are like, you know what, I just don't like salmon, it's very pungent, and it is the most pungent of the fish. But I'm like, you know what, let me cook you a fish, I'm gonna cook you a steak, or I'm gonna cook you chicken, that plate will be there, but I want you just to take the side dish and just have a bite of this salmon. If you don't like it, you'll never hear about that from me again, 99% of the time.
Bingo.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Not bad? Fuck yeah. That means you ate it.
Hey,
Done.
that's a win.
Yep.
I'm a sauce guy too, you know, so I feel bad for my chefs because, listen, sometimes you get a nice steak, I'll put some Sweet Baby Ray's next to it,
Dude,
you know?
up top, up top.
You know?
Not gonna lie, love that shit.
Me gusta las sauces. I got pizza, there's a bottle of ranch right next to it, you know? Like, I'm that guy, you know? And my wife knows. Like, listen, dinner time, there's usually a bottle of barbecue sauce there. I don't care what the fuck we're eating, right? Sushi, never tried it, but I would, you know? Which that's by far my favorite food. Sushi just gets me going. You fuck with sushi?
I went to Japan for a month.
No way.
Did a sushi course and a sashimi course.
You ever swung a sword? I feel like you swung a sword.
Like an actual sword?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
No way. Have you ever swung a sword? I kind of want to.
Yeah. Well, let's figure out what we can do. You
Yeah.
can do axe throwing here in Boynton. I know that.
Yeah, I've done that
You've
before.
done that,
I'm pretty
right?
good. I'm weirdly good. I do want to go on a
You
yacht
should have
though.
done bowling and darts. and a
Oh,
lot of other
I'll
things.
bring you guys if you guys want to come.
You ever been on a yacht?
Not like a real substantial one, I don't think.
Me and
I
Pete.
mean, we walked on
Yeah,
that
yeah.
one, not sailing.
Yeah.
Me and Pete went to the Palm Beach Boat Show this year,
Okay.
and we're walking around, and I'm like thinking, hey, can we get on one of these? You know? So I walk up, and
That's
I think,
exactly what he said to the girl.
hey, can we get on one of
Can we
these?
get on one of these?
And she's like, yeah. Take
you
off
have an
your shoe.
appointment?
Yeah. No. Actually, I can't afford it either. I really just want to take a peek. So me and Pete, we're just on the deck, like, you know, as kids, like, oh, this would be nice, you know. Dude, it's like, I don't want to ever own a yacht. I just want to rent a yacht in Greece for like 2 weeks one day with my fuck you money.
Well, I'm gonna have the fuck you money.
Yeah.
To the level, like people in yachting think it's silly when they're yachty, and I hate that term because I'm not the same. When they want to buy a boat. Now I want to buy a boat. I want to buy a tender first, like a little center console first. That'll be Lyfe Choyces, and then Lyfe Choyces 2, Lyfe Choyces 3. And I know I'm going to have these things because I'm going to be so successful that you have to put your money somewhere.
Yeah.
That's just the fact. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need a mansion. I don't need 17 cars, but I know I love being on a boat and I want to travel in that fashion. So I know I'm going to build a yacht. I'm going to charter them first and then build it because my successes are just going to be unlimited to me. I'll bring you guys on for a tour. That's no problem. My captain's really, really chill. We'll do a tour of the boat. You can bring a camera. You can take photos, whatever.
Awesome.
Pretty much all the boats I've ever worked on, I've done that for my friends and my family, and it's pretty chill because a lot of people see them here in West Palm, but no one ever, like, you know, what's in it? What's it look like? The sushi thing is a wonderful topic because being on yachts, everyone wants sushi. And if you don't know how to do sushi, which I didn't before, I just did what I could, didn't always wow the people. It didn't wow me. I put it out there and I was like really not happy with it. But going to Japan to learn how to do sushi, let me tell you how we in North America have no clue.
No way.
No way at all. Like, I mean, now, like, my boys know when we go out for sushi, it's hard for me because, let's say you order a bunch of rolls. I know which rolls came from which batch of rice because of the texture of the rice. I know the difference between just cooking rice and putting rice vinegar on it or actually putting the mixture of liquids that's supposed to go on the rice to enhance the flavor. And the different foods that they eat in Japan with sushi, most people in North America would not be able to eat.
You're telling me they're not using imitation crab?
They're not using the surimi.
Oh,
Not at all.
me gusta surimi.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
nice California roll too.
I got at least one block of that surimi in my fridge at
They
home.
use cream cheese in Japan too?
No.
No. Cream cheese in a roll is nice, man.
But
You
here's
know the
here's
wasabi we eat isn't like wasabi either.
oh no, it's
Like
good.
horseradish
I
or
fucking
something?
hate wasabi, dude.
Oh no, I love that.
I
Stuff.
love
You just gotta
wasabi.
get the fresh. You gotta grate it. Yeah.
What is wasabi? Is it
It's a root.
What?
Yeah.
It's just green blob, in my opinion.
Well, when you get sushi like around here, you're usually not getting the fresh wasabi.
Oh, you're
It's
getting powdered, like,
horseradish
mixed with
The
water.
ball.
green,
Yeah. So to the below deck thing. You ever been
Okay.
offered to be on the show?
So 2016, while I was traveling around the world, I was contacted. And the funny thing at the time is that the young lady that I was working with, who was the chief stew on the same boat as I, she had also gotten contacted at the same time as I did. Would have been funny if the two of us had gone on that show. But when that producer had contacted me, I was just very honest with him, and I said, "Listen, I'm a black and white individual when it comes to my job because my job facilitates me paying for my mother's bills. So I will not cause drama. I will do as the captain says, and I will cook the food as I'm supposed to for the guests." And of course, it's a reality show, so a lot of stuff is
They want the drama.
scripted, and
Yeah.
they want the drama, and they're going to portray you the way they want to because of ratings. So I said pass on that. I said if something else comes up in the future, feel free to hit me up. I call him my little brother. This gentleman that I went to culinary school with, actually. We became friends because we were sitting in class. We both had snowboarding jackets on. And I was like, yo, you know, where do you ride, basically? Because we lived in Ottawa, and from downtown Ottawa, there was a hill like 15 minutes away. There's another one 30 minutes away, and then there was like a big mountain in Quebec, which was like a 2-hour drive. So we just hit it off. We started chit-chatting. He invited me over to his house. We started cooking together, met all his friends. It was awesome. His dad hugged me on graduation. And I got him into the industry. I gave him the keys to the kingdom. I'm not going to mention his name. He is a wonderful human being. He's back in Ottawa. He's a realtor now. But I got him in the industry. I got him on a job. I got him on a boat that the owner had borrowed my boss's boat for a week. And a year later, his captain came to the boat and said, you know, Bradley, Mr. So-and-so wants to know if you know anyone that can do what you do for him. And I said, I got this guy, went to culinary school with him, never worked on a boat, passionate like a motherfucker. They hired him, they flew him out the next day. He was a week and a bit into a 7-week owner's trip. 1 month on the job, $1,000 raise a month. Boom, killing it, right? So he gets in the industry. He has a few hiccups along the way. But then he hits me up. He's like, dude, I got to bounce this idea off you. I just got called by Below Deck. And I'm like, okay, what are you thinking? And I'm like, listen, if you want to take your 15 seconds of fame, go for it. But remember, it's a reality show. They're going to paint you the way they want you to be. So you may or may not be able to get a job afterwards in the industry because there's going to be a lot of stigma attached to it. Now, sure enough, he went on the show. He did 1 season. He loved it. They painted him in a certain fashion. He couldn't get a chef job on another boat for like a couple of years.
The blonde guy with the long hair?
No.
Oh, shit.
I mean, you can put pieces together.
Yeah.
I mean, the show's been around for a while. We went to Ottawa. He's Canadian. That's pretty much all I'm going to say. Amazing, talented chef. Yeah. But again, they painted him in a certain way. He was doing jobs on friends' boats as a deckhand just to kind of still be in the industry. Eventually, he was able to start getting chef jobs again, and he was, you know, did that and then, you know, went back home because that's what he wanted. But I'll never be on a show like that because that's not for me.
Well, it's also like, are you a reality show person or are you a chef? You know, and
exactly.
Like, what's your identity?
Yeah.
You from Canada, eh?
Out and about and around the house.
Oh, me too.
I really.
My grandfather's from Ontario.
That's where I'm from.
No way.
Yeah.
What are the lakes around there? What are they called?
The Great Lakes?
No.
Lake Ontario?
A little north. The Muskokas. Bingo! That's where I'm from. The grandpa. I know the language and everything too. You know.
I was born in Toronto, and then I grew up in the suburbs of Mississauga, Ontario.
We might have been neighbors.
It could have been.
I never lived in
Yeah,
Canada.
might have had the same igloo next to each other.
Yeah, that's right, man. Canadians are the best, really are.
We try to be. We're nice.
Canadians
we get good weed.
Yes,
you know.
and good to weed.
Yeah.
Well, Brad, I want to do an episode with you where we go on a boat and we really see you in your element.
Absolutely.
I am offering myself. Will you cook for us?
On the boat?
No,
is
just
tricky.
in general.
In general, so Reed's actually has approached me. I think he's given up now, but he's approached me a bunch of times to do one of the
menus,
menu pop-up cooking things here. I'm always up for something. The only problem is because I work on a boat, we could be called away in an instant.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's the problem. So I'm fine with like putting something together and making a plan, and then hopefully working out. Now what we do at the compound, so TJ the kid, Brian aka Hottie, Cameron, call him the old man, and myself, we all live on the same property, and that's where Hellbent Custom Garage business is. Now, a lot of our acquaintances and friends, they know that's where they just swing by. You don't even need an invite. You just come by. We're always there at the end of the day. That's where we reconvene at the end of every night. We occasionally have these nights where we just do
family
cooking.
Dinner. Yeah.
Exactly. So you had Nick on here, DJ?
Yep.
So it was so funny because we had met once before through another DJ, Russ, that now is now in Colorado. So anyhow, Russ and I were at his house one night chatting about like a possible TV show, and Nick was there, but we didn't really meet. But anyhow, Nick came by like let's say about a month ago, like during the summer. We had a pizza night. So what I did was I made all the pizza dough and I made all the red sauce, and then everyone showed up with their ingredients, and we had a pizza party. Now there was 14 people, and I showed everyone how to roll out their pie. They put the sauce on, and then we like, you know, put it in. We have one of these like gas, you know, and you know, we was making pizza. The pizza took like less than 5 minutes once they got into the thing. Everyone had such a great fucking time, dude. But it was more than just the food; it was the people.
It's experience,
you know, and the conversations are very much like the conversations you guys have on your podcast, because it's just real motherfucking people at a stage in their life where that's what they want. I don't want the bullshit conversations anymore when I go into a bar and people are like, oh, how's it going? How's your business going? Have you watched it? Have you subscribed? You would know how the business is going.
It's a factor. You know?
So I rather have these conversations. So we do have a lot of those things, and I'll definitely hit you guys up to come to those, because I try to get, like, I invite Ryan and Knocklin. You know, Reed's been over there a bunch of times. It's just a great family-oriented situation, and we grill out just about anything. And you don't even need a reason to come by, other than you want to come by and hang out and have a good conversation with some people. And I think that's what most people need nowadays, is just having that ability to have a group of people that you can literally be yourself and just
be embraced.
Yeah, and just be heard, though. Like, no one, like your podcast, no one takes over the conversation. It's a fluid conversation that everyone takes a moment to kind of share their experience and talk about something. So it's important.
Dude, I'd say this almost every guest. Everyone's like, you know, oh, Nick says it every time. I love you, and you know, I doesn't need. It could be, you know, Kraft mac and cheese.
Right,
I just want to be able to say that's a professional chef, and he cooked for me, because that's never happened before. Just as much conviction as you have for yourself, I have much conviction as you. You know, and you know, guys, a lot of confidence is really faking it till you make it, and sometimes it's this blind belief within yourself that over the course of saying it out loud and writing it down and telling people, and not necessarily leaning on them, but saying it to the world, what I'm going to become, it starts to come to life. And that,
I have a huge example that I want to use right here.
Please.
So the universe is amazing, and I'm not the person I used to be. I used to laugh at like that kind of conversation, but the difference between being confident and cocky, you can be confident and express out loud what it is you're going to become. And the more you do it, the more you auto-suggest, it's going to happen. And you have to understand that the universe has a plan for you, okay? You just might not know what that plan is, but it's working for you as soon as you start working for it. And I know, because I've said it from day one, I've said it to my team, I'm going to be on that screen. We are going to develop something up there, because when Netflix and Vice come to me and say, listen, we'd like to do this, that, and the other, I'm gonna be like, that's awesome, but my production team knows me. They're the we that built this. So we're doing it together. But here's an example. Russ came to me.
the singer?
No. Russ,
Okay,
the DJ,
okay.
came to me about a TV idea that he had way back when, a long time ago. Below Deck contacted me. I said no. A producer from Gordon Ramsay's show, Next Level or Level Up, Next Level.
Where he just screams at everyone?
No. This is a newer. It's only done one season. The second season, I think, launches during the Super Bowl. A producer contacted me from there. My photograph went into the room. I don't know what happened. I wasn't in the room. So, you know, there's a multiple of different scenarios. But what I'm saying is, once I started believing in myself and put forth a journey to get me to somewhere, and I started working for the universe started working for me, and it's going to show you things to remind you it's got a plan for you. So I've not been on the big screen yet. I'm going to be. I can say that with confidence because I know it's going to happen, because the universe has already shown me 3 separate times that someone else's idea is being brought to me to do that, but we're not ready for it yet. The universe needs me to do something more still. I got to grow a bit more to fulfill what the universe has for me, but it has its plan already.
Yeah. It's called wisdom. Yeah.
It's being, I look at myself as being enlightened, and I can say that in the same way that you guys are as well. I know that as an individual that I can say you both are enlightened, because you know not only where you're going, but you have the ability to appreciate the process. People that want the instant gratification, the now, they're not grown yet. They haven't developed enough up here or in here to enjoy the process. Those who enjoy the process have that enlightenment.
I'll finish it with this, guys. I say it almost every episode, but if not you, then who? Who's going to be the next Anthony Bourdain or Emerald? Who's going to be the next guy that's a famous tattoo artist on Inked Up Tattoos on TV? Who's going to be the next contractor on HGTV? Who's going to be the next Kevin Hart or the next Marshmello or the next whatever it is? Every single day there's shoes that are being opened that need to be stepped into. Every single day there's opportunities for which you can grow and become. You just have to believe it yourself. Ain't no one going to tell you or give you that conviction that you are going to now tell the world, hey, I am good. Someone's words saying, Nick, you're going to be a great contractor. I don't wake up the next day and be like, yeah, I am a great contractor. Shelly told me I was going to be. No, you have to believe it yourself. And once you have that belief and that fire, no one's words will affect you. Thank you so much for your opinion. Have a great day. See you the fuck later. That's what I do take it in. Also, advice or wisdom or people telling me their opinions on things, it's vetted. Who are you to me? How do you know the situation? What are you saying? Is it in a negative light or positive light? You want me to become successful. But in the end of the day, if not you, then who? Stop relying on others to be this world in which you want to see. Start with yourself. Create a kingdom within yourself that you are proud of and watch the tides of everyone around you rise. Because that's the fact. Once they see that you could do, oh my God, anything. Nick, that kid that I knew 10 years ago was doing that. Holy shit, maybe I can. And you can. But you have to decide to do that. Me, Pete, Brad, no one can tell you it. You have to decide to do it. So do it. Start tomorrow. Make a plan for 10 minutes and fucking spend a day on it. Brad, guys, hit up Brad for anything. Wisdom, food, life, experiences. He's been in a bajillion countries. Places to travel, which I'm going to ask you about. But he's an amazing guy, and with tons of wisdom. Pick up his book, just do it, read it. You might get something out of it. I'm sure you fucking will. And reach out to him, guys. What's your Instagram handle?
So you can get the business at Lyfe Choyces, and that's going to be spelled with Y's, Lyfe. It'll be on the bottom.
Yeah,
we'll get all the information up there. There'll be a link for you to get to the website and to the Instagram. Hit me up with anything. Watch the videos on YouTube, which we post on Thursdays. And if you leave a comment, I'll get back to you. If you hit me up, DM me on Instagram. More than happy to have a chat with you. If you're interested in doing an episode with us on YouTube, let me know. We do how-to cooking videos, travel guides, a whole bunch of different stuff. We're growing. We want our community to become bigger, and we're really all about helping other people to elevate. So,
guys, support local. Support people who are just giving their best to become more in this world and giving back to others. Guys, this is Bradley David. Thank you so much for watching, listening, viewing, and subscribing. We will be with Brad again. I promise you that. We will see you guys next week. Thank you to 4 and Stanton Bowery Group and 123 Dentura as well. Guys, thank you so much. Peace.
I've been outside getting money, I'm on my thug again. Tryna stack a little dub, tryna catch a win. And next time I drop a coupe, it's gonna be a twin turbo. Always been a G, but I ain't never been a herb though. Way I'm switching lanes,